Hello everybody and welcome back to another new video, and this is going to be my first video of 2023. I hope everybody out there had a great and a happy new year. And yeah, in this one I'm just going to show you some of the pickups that I've been getting in the last couple of months, stuff that I haven't got a chance to show you yet in a video. And most of them are going to be records that I picked up during the latest edition of the Atlanta Record Show, which happened just a couple of months ago. Which was a great record show. It was actually one of the best ones that I've been to in a long time. So stay tuned for those pickups. But before getting started, just a quick channel update, I guess. But I'm using a different camera now. Actually, I started using this new camera in my last video, which was my top 10 albums of 2022. So you should have seen a little bit of an image quality improvement in that last video, starting from that video. So yeah, let me know if you see anything that may look off. I'm still trying to figure out the settings in this new camera, but it should look a little bit better compared to most of my videos from 2022 or from before. But yeah, I'm in the process of kind of like reorganizing things here on my desk. It's a little bit of a mess, but it is allowing me to use this new camera for my VC videos. So I'm looking forward to using this one. And also, before getting started, a quick shout out and a big thanks to my fellow VC member and great maker of mixed CDs, DJ Trish. She sent me last month her latest Christmas mix, Christmas 2022. And as usual, it's fantastic. It's full of great tracks, especially for the Christmas time. And I gotta say, this mix CDs that Trish always sends me during Christmas, they always become the soundtrack for my Christmas. Because I have a good CD stereo upstairs in my living room, and I played the hell out of this mix CDs upstairs. Because then I don't have to worry about finding the right mix on Spotify or anything. I just put on the mixes from DJ Trish. I know they're gonna be great. And when I ran out of songs in this one, I just play some of the old ones like this one. I was also playing the one from 2019, which also had a great track list as well, and even some of the older ones too. And she also sent me a nice Christmas card in that VCLT package. So thank you so much, Trish, for always sending this mix CDs. I really appreciate it, and thank you for keeping me on your mind during the Christmas time. All right, so let's go ahead and check out my recent pickups, starting with the records that I got at the latest edition of the Atlanta Record Show. And this was my first time going to the record show at the new location. Just recently, they moved to a different place, which is a lot bigger than the old one, which was a great change because there's a lot more space just to be able to move around from the different vendors. And there's a lot more space also for new vendors. I actually saw quite a bit new vendors at the record show that I'd never seen before. And a lot of those vendors have a great selection of stuff that I actively look for. And that is punk, pop punk, and emo records. Old stuff as well as new stuff, especially stuff from the early 2000s, which can be a little bit hard to get now on vinyl. So I ended up buying a lot of records from that one vendor that I never ended up picking up his name. I should have, because I got so much, but maybe I will in the next record show. So this one is the first one that I got from that vendor. This one is FIREHOSE with From Ohio. And this one came out back in 1989 on SST Records, of course. And this one, I don't think it's an original press. It might be an early repress, but it comes with really cool labels on black vinyl. Fantastic record from FIREHOSE. I've actually streamed this record many times before. I've always wanted a copy on physical format, and I finally have one in my collection. Again, FIREHOSE with From Ohio. This is the band that was put together by the remaining members of the Minutemen, Mike Watt and George Hurley. And they formed this band in the 80s, and this is their third studio album. And I don't know much about their other records besides this one. I'm sure they're all great, but this is the one that I have now in my collection. I've been spinning this one quite a bit. I love this one. It is very similar, of course, as the music from the Minutemen, but a little bit slower. I think when a lot of the punk bands get a little bit older, they go through a lot of things. they tend to slow things down a little bit when it comes to their music. And in my opinion, it's a good thing. It works really well on this record. It has still a lot of bangers in this one. The bass is great from Mike Watt, especially in the songs like Whispering While Hollering. I love that one. And What Gets Heard. Love those two tracks. So the highlights are, of course, the bass and the guitar on this record. But the great thing about this one is that they give a couple of songs for the drummer just to show off. There's a song called Let the Drummer Have One, which is just a drum solo for a couple of minutes. It's great, and it also has a couple of really good instrumental tracks, or mostly instrumental songs, like Vastopol and Mas Cojones. Two great tracks. Great record. A great record to start the year, of course. FIREHOSE with From Ohio. Alright, and the next few records that I'm going to show you are going to be kind of like similar as far as the sound. They're all going to be from the early 2000s, and they're going to be either punk or pop punk. This vendor, the same vendor that I told you about before, he had an awesome selection from No Idea Records, and records that I've never seen before on vinyl from that decade, which is kind of hard to find now. Starting with this one, this is My Fist. And the album is called A History of Rats. And this one came out back in 2006 on No Idea Records. Great record. It was used, but in really good condition. Came in with a nice insert with the lyrics and some additional artwork. And the record itself came in on kind of like a purple marbled vinyl. Fantastic punk rock from This Is My Fist in this one. A little bit different than the other punk bands that came out around the same era. I think a lot of those bands were a little bit more in the poppier side of pop punk. This band is a full-blown punk band. The singer in this band, she has an extremely raspy voice. And you'll see it in the clip that I'll show you later in the video. But her voice is just so harsh and so raspy that it's hard to believe that it can be a sustainable voice throughout an entire concert. I never saw them live. I wish I had, because they ended up breaking up a few years after this record came out. Anyways, the music is fantastic. It's fast-paced. It's punk rock. It has its melodic sound as well, or its melodic side. But it is a fantastic, one of the best records of the early 2000s. Again, This Is My Fist with A History of Rats from No Idea Records. Alright, up next, I also picked up a couple of records from a band called The Measure SA. And by the way, the SA in The Measure SA stands for Strictly Analog. And this one's called Notes. This is their second studio album. And this is a compilation album called My Heart and the Real World. Let's start off with this one. Again, the second studio album from The Measure SA. This one came out in 2010 on No Idea Records. There's the back, there's the No Idea logo there and the t-shirt. The record itself came in on kind of like a marbled purple or a darker purple vinyl with the No Idea logo labels here on this side. Really good pop punk from that time, from the 2010s. So we're moving further a little bit in the as far as the time frame. So it's very pop punk oriented, but some of these songs definitely have that classic Ramones guitars or sound. So some of the songs are a little bit faster paced. The whole record is really good. Definitely worth checking out. And by the way, The Measure SA was the former band from the singer and songwriter Lauren Denizio, who now plays with a band called Warriors. One of the songs that really caught my attention in this one was a song called Unwritten. Definitely check out this one. And it's a song that she ended up re-recording with her new band Warriors in one of her older albums too. Great track. Alright, up next I also got this one from The Measure SA. This one's called My Heart and the Real World. another collection of standard weights and measurements. This is a compilation from the band that came out in 2011, also on No Idea Records. And this is the list or the artwork for all the singles that the compilation includes the songs from. And this one did not come with an insert, but it did come with a nice, kind of like a green marble vinyl, also with the same labels on this side. Yeah, this is a compilation record. It has a lot of songs in this one. I think it has like 20 songs. And I love the song titles here. I don't know if you can see it there, but it has a lot of references to classic punk bands, like Triple Quarters on the Dime from the Minutemen, War Cage, reference to the Descendants. Remember the Devil Lock, the classic Devil Lock from the Misfits. And it also has Ruby is a Punk, classic reference to the Ramones. All right, and staying with the same type of era, how about this one? This is Fifth Hour Hero with Collected in Comfort. And this one came out back in 2003 on Dare to Care Records. And actually, this one came out on CD originally in 2001, and it came out on vinyl for the first time in 2003. And as far as I know, it has never been repressed, but it came out on with a nice insert with the lyrics. And the vinyl itself came in on like a clear yellow, orangish vinyl, which sounds great as well. Fifth Hour Hero, punk or pop punk band from the early 2000s. They were also very short-lived, although they did come out with a couple of studio albums. This is their first collection EP. I think it's a collection of their first singles. So it only has 5 songs, which I did not know when I bought the record, which I should have because it's right there, the track list. The songs are just okay. You can tell that this is a very early recording from the band. And there is also the sound from that era. It's not for everybody. It's definitely on the emo or pop punk sound that was very popular back then. They're one of the best ones that did it back then in the early 2000s. But this record is really not their strongest. If you check out something from Fifth Hour Hero, check out this album, which I only have on CD. Maybe someday I will find it on vinyl. But this one's called Not Revenge, Just a Vicious Crush. This one is fantastic. All right, the next couple of records that I'm going to show you are some the albums that I picked up from Steve, or that I bought from Steve, also known as Harmless Rebel here in the YouTube vinyl community. Steve is a guy that, Harmless Rebel is the channel that I've been watching since I started making videos. So it was really cool to actually meet him in person there at the record show. He was one of the vendors there. And of course, shout out to Steve. He is very knowledgeable about music. He knows a lot about records. And of course, he had a great selection there. And I bought a couple of items from his selection, starting with this one. And this one's called, this one's from Linda Ronstadt. And it's called Hand Sewn Homegrown. And it came out in 1969 on Capitol Records. This is the first solo album from Linda after the Stone Ponies. And for some reason, I thought that I had all the Linda records from the 60s and 70s, but I was wrong. I did not have this one in my collection. Came in on black vinyl with the Capitol labels. Really good record. It is not my favorite from her. I think she has a couple of the records that are a little bit better than this one, but still a solid album from Linda Ronstadt. Again, glad to add it to my Linda collection. And also from Steve's stand at the record show, I got this CD of the Get Up Kids, and this one's called Something to Write Home About. And this one came out originally in 1999 on Doghouse Records. And I've been looking for this album for a long time. I've been a fan of the Get Up Kids for a few years, and for some reason I never found this one on CD or on vinyl. They can be a little bit hard to find now. There's a CD. In my opinion, this is a classic pop-punk album, again from 1999. The sound of the Get Up Kids is a sound that a lot of modern pop-punk bands aspire to sound like, but they can't really quite accomplish it the way that the Get Up Kids did it back in 1999, especially from that era, in the late 90s, early 2000s. The Get Up Kids have had a lot of really good records during that decade, and this one's definitely one of the best ones. In my opinion, a classic pop punk album. So very melodic, the vocals are very melodic, but the guitars are still very on the punkier side, so a little bit faster paced. Alright VC, so that's all I have to show you for this video. I hope you enjoyed those records, and I should be back fairly soon. I'm thinking of a couple of more videos to make. I'm gonna try to make an entry or a video for the vinyl tag, which looks really good for this year. And I've been watching a lot of the VC videos from the vinyl tag in the last couple of days, and I've been enjoying those as well. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.